Yo, what's going on? Chavo Guerrero Jr. here, giving a big shout out to Wrestling Rehab. Keep watching, keep listening, and Viva la Raza.
Órale.
There we go. All right, let's all Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shouts to all the junkies out there. All right, man. I know it's a couple of days late. Um, Doing the Saudi Arabia show kind of throws me off when they go across the pond because the time difference and all that stuff. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and let's get into it. But not just that, moving forward on what's going to happen with all the fallout, what happened in Riyadh season, man, over there at Night of Champions, where only two titles were defended. Hey, man, let's go ahead and let's bring in my man, Big Bird. What's up, Big Bird?
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Man, oh man, oh man, dog. Big fallout, Holmes. Didn't go exactly the way we thought, but we got a couple of things right, man.
Yep, that's true.
And
We only missed like two, I think.
yeah, yeah, let's get into it. And with Monday Night Raw that just passed, um, I don't like Monday Night Raw didn't really shake too many things up for me, but we'll get into that in a second. But Bird, let's talk about Night of Champions, man. I'm not gonna go in any particular order here, but let's start with the King of the Ring, Cody Rhodes over Randy Orton. What's your thoughts on that, man?
I, I like the match. I'm not gonna lie, but I just didn't like the ending. To be honest, like I think it could have been better the ending. And then another thing too is like I like Cody Rhodes, as I have mentioned that he's like the modern day, Hulk Hogan or Lex Luger or whatever you want to call it, but I don't know. I think to be honest, I think Randy Orton should have won, and maybe he should have faced like Gunther at SummerSlam. But it was a good match though. I loved it, from beginning to end. But just the ending, man, I think they could have done like something else, something better. How about yourself?
It, it it was a good match. I was starting to think if Randy was really hurt. Like I don't do. How old is Randy Orton?
Oh, he's like 40 something, right?
He's up there in
46.
age, right? And I was
Yeah.
starting to think like, I was really starting to think like, is he really injured? Is he really hurt, man? Because he's injury prone. He's been through a lot. He's taken a lot of bumps, and I was like, man, I don't know, man. But to me, I think Cody had to win this. Um, just him going after John Cena at SummerSlam to me is just kind of like, okay, well, I guess he's gonna beat John Cena. I'm not sure, but I mean the match it was all right. To me it wasn't neither here nor there. It wasn't like a classic or anything, but it was a good enough match, man. Were you happy with Cody Rhodes winning?
Yeah, at the end, I was happy because it only makes sense, like for him to win and go to SummerSlam and face John Cena because I was like, I think they had mentioned that he only has 15 days, right, John Cena, like to show up. So I'm like, he has to drop the title soon because remember you were counting last time
Right?
how many
Yeah.
months, how many weeks,
Right.
unless maybe like at the end he hits it with a curve.
Uh, or if would you have been okay had Randy won?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. If Randy would have won, I would have been happy too, because how can I put it this way? It's just like you look at them, right? The way they look, like Cody Rhodes kind of short, Randy Orton's kind of like big and massive.
Hmm.
So it only makes sense, like okay, like 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 Randy winning, like it makes sense. Like, okay, I understand why he won because he's bigger and stronger and so on and so forward. But story mode wise, like yeah, it makes sense that Cody won, But I was happy with the ending, Either Cody or Randy would have won, I would have been happy with both, winning.
Yeah, in my opinion, man, I think Cody had to win. Having Randy win, it's like, uh, I don't know. Honestly, man, I think Randy. I don't know how many more title shots he's really gonna get. I know they bring up that he's the one closest to John Cena. I don't think he ever gets there. Like I said, he's done a lot with his body, and I'm not really sure how he's over. Yeah, don't get me wrong, he's over, but I don't think he's as over as he once used to be,
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you. There was
man.
a time, once upon a time, that he was really, really over like that, But now he's kind of like the veteran, He's like he comes out and people give him his flowers, But
Uh,
it's not like, oh yeah, like there's not a lot of fans like a lot for him, like a lot of fans, like say John
Yeah,
Cena or Cody or even Roman Reigns, Even though I don't like Roman Reigns, but it seems like Roman Reigns, like he has now a lot of fans.
yeah, yeah, man, for dang sure. And how dare you say that about my tribal chief? Just for that, let's take a moment and acknowledge our tribal chief. We acknowledge you, our tribal one. Uh, no, no, look, yeah, Randy Orton definitely his superstardom, his superstar power, it's fading away, it's dying out, and as more and more of the newer generation comes in, the more he kind of fades off a little bit. Especially kids. I don't know how many kids really. It's more like the guys that have been around wrestling, like you and I, that really
Yeah,
know what Randy Orton has done in the business, but you get, like kids and stuff that they don't really know. You know what I mean? They don't really know Randy Orton much, and I think he's fading off, man. He's definitely fading off. But hey,
yeah,
man,
that's true.
moving on. Big Bird, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez, man. In a street fight. What was your thoughts on this match?
At first, it was kind of like slow, like the rhythm. It was kind of slow, but then it started catching up. Like I like the fact that they started using weapons and you know then Roxanne Perez, like she interfered too, but like wow, this girls, they could put a wrestling clinic on. I really like the match at the end. Like at the beginning, yeah, kind of like I was just kind of like, oh man, is this gonna be like a snooze fest? But thank God, like they started catching, boom, the rhythm, and it was a good match, and I'm glad that Rhea Ripley won. I really like Rhea Ripley, and I go for her because Raquel, like she's there, but I'm not really into her like that. Maybe later on, I don't know. Maybe in the future, she probably grows on me or something. But and like we have mentioned that she really, if it wasn't for the Judgment Day or maybe Liv Morgan, I don't think she would have been this big, or this known.
And by the way, even her being with the Judgment Day and tag team champion with Liv Morgan, she's still not that big. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
that's
she's
true.
still she's still not that over. I would like her to get a nice push because if look, this is look, okay, the match was good. I enjoyed the match, right? Both of
Yeah,
these girls, Mommy and Raquel Rodriguez, they're both big, they're both powerhouses, and they put on a great match. The thing that kills it for me, the thing that kills it for me is that one, Raquel isn't that over. All right. That's one. And two, she's a tag team champion. What is she doing in there in a one-on-one match against Mommy? Like, how, if Raquel won, What the heck was that gonna do? What, mommy was gonna have to go and find a tag team partner or something? Like, you're in a tag team. You are a tag team champion. What is she in there doing against mommy? So if you're gonna do this stuff, I think this is a great match, Big Bird. Later on down the line, if Raquel breaks away from the tag team division and goes solo, if she can get over her versus mommy at WrestleMania, I mean, they already did the street fight, and I'm like, for what? Why would you waste this? You could have done this, for something else when it actually meant something. Because in reality, Big Bird, what did this match even mean? What was it for?
Nothing, because if I remember, I think Rio came out the next day, and EO just came out, and they were like, the story mode kind of like focused like in a different direction now, and it's just like, okay, like what happened, I thought Raquel
I,
was gonna come out and attack Rhea again and so on, but yeah, it was just a scrap match, like, but it makes sense what you're saying, like it'll be amazing if they both, face off like at WrestleMania. Let's say, for example, Rhea's the champion, or Raquel's the champion, and they challenge like each other for the title or whatever. Then okay, that's understandable. But this match was kind of like, yeah, like I said, like at the beginning it was kind of like, okay, getting the rhythm, but in reality it didn't even make sense. Why it happened, or why, because the next day it was just like it never happened.
and by the way, man, I did not. Okay, I love Rhea Ripley, dog. I think she's one of the hot ones. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I like
definitely.
I like me some mommy. That facial paint that she had, I thought ruined it. She had this face paint on her for that, and I was like, "What the heck is this? What is this? Just come out the way you do your makeup, girl. You look fine like that." She threw on this weird, like, whitish paint on her face, and then like some weird orange like around the eyes, and I was just like, "No, no, you're killing it. You're
Yeah,
killing it."
yeah. Because at first I was looking at her outfit, like from the front, when she was
Mm,
entering the ring, and
right,
I was like, okay, this is awesome. She's paying homage to Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman. But
right,
then during the match, I noticed that she had like a pumpkin like in one of her cheeks, like in the back, and I was just kind of like, okay, like why did she even put the pumpkin? I understand she
right.
loved Halloween and stuff like that, but I think it should have just been like all leather and the little stitches and pay homage to Catwoman. But yeah, I don't know. I think she has to fire her. What's it called? her,
The
you
the
know the
the, the
stylist, right, or whatever.
They're stylish, yeah, yeah, man, yeah. I wasn't digging that. I like the fact that Roxanne came out because eventually what I thought was gonna happen ended up happening on Monday Night Raw. It is official; they are an actual tag team. So I mean, it was a good match, though. I enjoyed it. I just thought there was no need for it. It meant absolutely nothing, and then you make it a street fight, which is makes it more of a kick-ass match that means nothing. So I'm just like, all right, whatever, man. But Bert, moving on, man. We have a Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill, gets it over Asuka. Your thoughts?
Well, at first I was like, I wanted Asuka to win so she could face Io Sky at SummerSlam. That was like the
R-
main goal. That was like the main dream. I would like, I want to see Io Sky versus Asuka, for the title at SummerSlam. But Jay, she won, and at first I was like shaking my head. I was like, oh my god, like why did she won? Because she's like I don't know, man. I don't really like her as a wrestler. I think she needs more, like she needs to learn more like the WWE style, because I think WWE has like its own style.
Hmm.
And but then I started thinking after that, like maybe Monday or yesterday, I was like, okay, I think they gonna do all this, and then maybe Cardi B is gonna be, on her side for SummerSlam, and I think
Ah.
there's gonna be a point that Naomi she's gonna cash in on Tiffany before SummerSlam. So
Mm.
Naomi's gonna walk in the champion, at SummerSlam, and Jay's is gonna challenge Naomi for the title, and Cardi B is gonna be like at her corner. It's starting to make sense.
You know, I didn't think about that. Um, but what you're saying makes sense. Okay, so I'm with you with the whole Jade Cargill thing. I don't think she's that good of a wrestler. She's a good character. You know, she came out looking like Storm, which is good.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, her wrestling ability still needs improvement. Tiffy Time has been champion for it's not like she's had a long run, but I think she's been champion long enough, right?
yeah,
Um, I don't know who Tiffany Stratton is facing at Evolution, but I think I think you're onto something though, Big Bird. I think if Naomi cashes in, because there you still got the beef between Naomi and Jade Cargill, but Jade Cargill seems like she's kind of moving on to other things, but Naomi doesn't let her, you
yep,
know. So if you have Naomi cash in on whatever Tiffany Stratton is doing at Evolution, if you have Naomi cash in, become champion, and then start building that match between Naomi and Jade Cargill, yeah, I think that'll work for SummerSlam, man.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
it seems like the rapper Cardi B. It seems
yeah.
like she's gonna be involved. Like not only like the host, but like it seems like okay, I think she's gonna be involved. So it only makes sense, like okay, like for them to, like pair her up with, like Jay and walk her to the ring or whatever the case is. But maybe Bianca, she could help out Naomi, she comes back as a heel or something.
Are
And
you
yeah.
are you cool with that? Are you cool with Tiffany Stratton losing the title?
To be honest, I love Tiffany. Like she's like I'm really into her right now, and I'm glad that she's a
Mm.
champion. But it only makes sense, because who do you see Tiffany like facing like at SummerSlam, for example? Who is she beefing with right now?
You're right about that. However, they could build Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
that can happen. But I'm with you. She's not like in some major program or anything of that sort. She just had last woman standing match at SmackDown. I thought that was pretty good against Nia Jax.
Oh yeah, that one was a good match.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good. So I mean, she's still doing her thing. Evolution is what, a week and a half away?
Oh yeah, it's almost here, right? When is it? The
Yeah,
17th? No, wait.
I forgot, but yeah, it's not that far away, man. But yeah, so I mean, whatever she does there, I
Yeah.
think you're onto something, man. I think Naomi could cash it in and then build that match from there. If not, or or who knows, man? Maybe it could be Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill gets the victory, and Naomi cashes in on her at SummerSlam.
Oh, I'm
You
with you on
know,
that one. That makes sense too.
hey, are you into Naomi? Is her run being a heel, this caution, Naomi? Are you down with that?
No, I never got into her, like, and remember, I think she got released one time from WWE, and it didn't really like hit me, like, it wasn't like a big impact, and then they brought her back, and I was just like, okay, like, I don't know. I did met her one time, like in person. You know, she's really nice and everything. But no, I never. There's certain divas, certain wrestlers that I tried to get into them or I tried to watch their match, but I can't. It's just like it doesn't really catch my attention. You know. And
You weren't feeling the glow.
no, I wasn't. You know. I mean, she's a. Don't get me wrong. You know, she's a good looking woman. You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, like yeah, I see her like like she posting like little stuff on social media and stuff like that. But I don't know. I can't get into her like that. You know, I try to, but nah. Maybe like Jay. Right now, I'm not into Jay. You know, because she don't wrestle good much. And but I do like the fact that like her character, like is good. You know, like you say, she came in dressed as Storm from the X-Men. And they were like, wow, that was amazing, you know? Like you could
Right.
tell that she's really, really trying, like her, like you could tell that. And maybe give it more months and she's gonna like, she's building up and she's gonna get good and better, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. When it comes to Naomi, to me, she was always like a middle of the pack kind of star. Um, I like her, dog. I think she's pretty fine. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
not kind of not this version of her. Like the way she does her hair here, I'm not really that into. I kind of like when she had straightened her hair out.
Yeah.
But I get she's trying to go for like a crazy look.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'm
true.
down, so okay, all right, that's cool. Going with the character, I'm not really. It's to me, it's not building her up. It's not building her stardom. It's not really doing much for her star power, in my opinion. There might be some people that might be into the storyline because she's beefing with Jade.
Yeah.
But outside of her beefing with Jade, I think she just, even with this new heel turn and this new kind of character that she has, I still think she's gonna remain like a mid card superstar.
Oh, definitely. Because this is my opinion. I think they brought her back because Jimmy is her husband. Jimmy
Right.
Uso.
Yeah.
And all the Samoans, they're bringing all the Samoans into WWE, and I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure they have a good relationship with all the Samoan family. Like the Usos and Roman and everybody. So I'm pretty sure that's the only. This is my opinion. I might be wrong though, but I think she has a job back again. Like on the WWE because her being wife with Jimmy Uso. That's my opinion because you remember when she started? She was one of the how you say the pterodactyls or whatever. The dancers for
Yeah. For Brodus Clay, somebody call my mama. I'm on
Aha.
TV. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was kind of shocked when like they became wrestlers because I just thought that was like a one thing gig, like just be the dancers and that's it. As a matter of fact, what the funny part is? I thought the other one was gonna become big and like a good wrestler, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, she kind of faded off, man. I don't know whatever happened to her. I heard that she went to a small promotion and then she just stopped wrestling. So
Yeah.
I got no idea. But yeah, I mean, look, Naomi, she may get the title, she may do something, but as soon as she stops beefing it with Jade, I think she just goes back to where she's always been, you know.
Yeah, because
But
there's time like for example, I know, call me crazy or whatever, but like at the Royal Rumble when she came out, and I was like, oh, okay, like, oh, I keep forgetting that she's part of the roster. There's certain
yeah,
people that you forget, like, oh my god, oh wow, they still, yeah, I forget that they still in WWE. Like for example, like how can I say, I forgot the Asian guy with the he be with Otis, and oh yeah, he's still right there.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Akira Tozawa.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh yeah, I forget that he's still in WWE. Like, there's
Right.
certain characters that they kind of like fade out, like in the back, but they still, with the company.
No, I'm I'm with you 100%. As a matter of fact, Speaking of guys that you forget that are on the roster, Karrion Cross versus Sami Zayn. Um,
Oh man, what a match!
it was good, man. I enjoyed it. I really did, man. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I really liked it too. But it was the written on the wall that Sami Zayn was gonna win for sure. Like, it was 100%. Like for sure. We talked about it, and people, expected, and they happened because he's really big over there. Sami Zayn. Like they really love him over there.
Which is kind of strange because okay, so do they love him or because they did? I mean, when he came out, the place goes crazy, and I'm like, okay,
Hey,
like
by the
I don't
by
really,
by the way, sorry to cut you off, but damn
yeah.
man, the stage, oh my god, and the crowd, holy, I'm like they should do like I can't wait for the Royal Rumble.
I I'm like, okay, I'm not like all into the politics over there, but he wasn't allowed to go over there for the longest time because he's
Oh
Jordanian,
yeah, I
right?
remember. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. They don't like those people, or they're not allowed, whatever. So are they like overcompensating, or do they actually really truly love Sami Zayn? I don't know, because yeah, man, they when he comes out, it's like damn, like whoa, man, like the biggest star just came out. I'm like, wow, and I always think about it like, man, it was just a few years later that this dude was not allowed there because he's Jordanian. Because they don't mess with his kind of people. So I got no idea if they're just overcompensating or if they really do love him. I mean, he's a good wrestler. He's a good character. Um, I mean, look to me. Okay, let me ask you about Karrion Cross
Okay.
because Karrion Cross only really got this match because of the promo that he cut talking about the guy in the suit in the trailer in the back, go after yourself, right? That got people talking about him. That got people pushing for him. That they want to see more of him. All right. Well, here he is. He had a match, which was a good match. What do you want to see from Karrion Cross, or is Karrion Cross still where he's always been for you?
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did love that little documentary he did. In Vegas this past April,
Hmm.
and I was like, wow, like this he's a good talker and everything. But he had this match with Sami Zayn, and it was a good match. But I feel like I think it could have been a little bit better. I think he could have put like 100%. But I think he's the type of character or the type of wrestler that just gonna stay in the back burner. Like Triple H was like, all right, here it is. I'm gonna give you this match. So you could prove yourself and everything. But I feel like it's just what's that word called? Let me see. There's a word I'm looking for. I forgot. It's like overhype. Like just because people
Okay.
saw the documentary, they're like, you know what, we behind this guy. But that hype, I feel like is dying down. I might be wrong though, but I feel like like what you gonna do after this, like where are you gonna put him, like what storylines you gonna put him in and stuff like that, maybe his character you gotta tweak it a little bit, because I mean, I don't know what his character supposed to be. I don't know. He's
I
supposed to be like
okay.
a vampire, or I mean, not a vampire, but like I'm trying to
I
figure
you
out what his character is.
okay? I don't know what his character is. I
Yeah.
thought I thought when he was with the faction, Final Testament, I thought that faction could have done something pretty Friedman, dog. I thought they could have been something pretty good as they gave them a bigger push, but they didn't. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. Everybody forgets about okay, so he he himself really does not get anybody talking too much, right? Except for that. So now it's like, oh, now they're pushing him for I don't know how long that's gonna last. But even that, Big Bird, nobody even cares about his wife, Scarlett. She
Yeah,
gets
that's true.
she's there by his side. No, I never hear anybody talking about her like, oh man, she's good looking, or she does this, or she does that, or it's like she's just, I don't know, man. I forget that she's even there.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
I think she needs to start putting herself out there a little bit more, man. Getting some attention on her, getting some eyes on her, getting involved in it. Because she just kind of fades off, and I'm like, oh, that's right, man. He's got that chick with him, and that's like, oh, well, that's actually his wife. But it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know, man. She's so irrelevant.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe she goes like solo, like she could become like a big superstar, Like for example, Sable. Remember Sable? When she
Yeah,
broke up what was his husband? Marmero?
the wild man, Mark Merrill.
Yeah. And and
Yeah,
she became big, right? Like when she went solo and she like left them and stuff. And
I
what's
look,
the
I think I could say, okay. I think if he goes on a winning streak because of her, like every single match he cheats because she involves herself one way or the other, I think that can start some sort of trend of like, hey, he's winning all these matches, but because one way or another she gets involved, some way, somehow, she throws some salt to the eyes, like Mr. Fuji did to Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9, or
Yep.
she whatever, trips somebody or hits somebody with some brass knuckles, or gives Karrion Cross something, or interferes with the referee or something, and have Karrion Cross go like on a pretty nice long winning streak, man, where he could come out and brag like, I'm undefeated or whatever. And everybody knows like, yeah, but it's because of her. And now both of you guys are building that. But it's like, outside of that, Big Bird, I don't know, man. Like, it was cool what he said and everything, but yeah, I mean, I think that flame, that fire's starting to fade off, Holmes.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And by the way, that was the word I was looking for. It was just a trend, a trend. But
Mm,
I think WWE they dropped the ball at the beginning because as soon as they saw like, hey, you know what, this guy got over a little bit, because of his little documentary. Let's do something with him. Let's do something with him. But you notice that they waited so long. They waited so long. Um, he had this match on June, right? Last week, right? No, my bad. This
right.
past weekend,
This
and
past
and
weekend.
that, yeah, that was June. June, so they waited like 2 months or whatever. Like, no, man, they should have jumped on it. Hey, you know what? Boom, throw him in. Let him have a match, like you say. Let him win. Maybe we could give him like one of the titles, the U.S. title or whatever the case is, But I don't know, man. I think it goes both ways, I think the WWE dropped the ball because they had to jump on it. As soon as they see the crowd asking for something, even though they already have like the storyline like planned out throughout the year, they had to really, erase, the storyline in the middle and add whatever is hot at the moment. Like for example, what happened to LA Knight? Remember when he was hot,
Yes,
and
yes.
to this day he's still like, he's pretty badass. He's like a mixture of Stone Cold and The Rock and Macho Man, a little bit of Macho Man, and like wow, this guy is like badass. Like why don't they give him like a like I don't know the world heavyweight title for a bit or whatever the case is. And then when that happens, it's gonna probably happen like around October or next year. And then the people are already gonna be like, damn, it's too late, like why you didn't do it when we were like behind them and we're really like, like pumping this guy out, and stuff like that, pumping him up, like
I
sometimes I don't know,
I
WWE
would
is bipolar.
no,
I love,
I
I love it.
I,
I love it. I love it. You know what? I'm my heart to the day I die. But sometimes you're like, oh man, you just want to reach out to the writers and the producers and the hurricane and whoever's in the back.
I yeah, no, I'm with you, man. Um, yeah, because you gotta go when something is hot. You gotta ride with it. Like, okay, we had plans, but this is hot right now. So let's ride this, and then when it cools off, then we'll revisit the plan that we had. I would love to see LA Knight become main champion, even if it's just for like 3 months.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
me too. Me too.
I think he's earned it, man. He's earned it.
Oh yeah,
You know?
and it will look good on him. Like that title, whichever title, like it's gonna look good on him too.
Yeah, yeah, man. So, well, I mean, what do you think about the match, the winner, and what happens from here? Is there more story to this?
Between them, no, I think they will said. I don't think there's more. There's no like story. Maybe later on the line, but I think this is it for now for them. And and
Yeah,
by and by the way, like I don't like Sami Zayn. Like I'm not into him. Like I don't hate him, but I cannot get into him. But by the way, I had to mention that wow, him and Penta, they make a good tag team. Like partners. Like they should win maybe the tag team titles at some point. Like they have good chemistry. I was just like I was amazed. When I was watching that match on Monday. I
yeah,
was like, I was like, hold, like, like I could see this, like they really caught my attention.
yeah. No, I look. I okay. Sami Zayn is a good wrestler. He is a good wrestler. But just like you, I mean, Pablo's not here. If not, Pablo would tear us a new one. He's a huge Sami Zayn fan. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He's just kind of, again, I'm not talking about his wrestling. His wrestling, it is good. Outside of that, I don't know, man. I just can't get into the dude. He's just like a mediocre mid card kind of guy to me. That's it.
Yeah,
Give
that's
give him
true.
the United States title. Let him have a little bit of a run, and then take it off of him. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But
He
I
kind of
don't.
he kind of remind me like a modern day like Chuck Palumbo. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
like
I
like
mean,
like you he's a good wrestler, but you cannot really like you try to get into him, but not really like all right, he's there.
yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Well, Big Bird, you and I, Holmes, you and I,
Yeah.
we have a new United States champion
Oh
by the
yeah.
name of Solo Sokoa. Oh man, I'll tell you, The Rock is opening the door for all his family to go in this sucker dog.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
pretty soon the whole damn roster is gonna be all the Samoans, man. All right, what was your thought about this match, man?
Oh, it was good, man. It happened like we expected, and I'm glad that Solo is the new champion because like I was telling I'm sorry, Pablo, right? Pablo?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, Pablo, like I would like me and you and Pablo were talking about like Solo has I'm not into Solo, but he has something, man, like something that he's digging it. He's digging it, he's coming out, it's coming out. He's gonna be big. Like one day he is gonna be like either the WWE champion or the world heavyweight champion, like maybe um like his character right now, it's like whatever, like yeah, it's there, but I'm glad that he won because if he would have lost, like it doesn't do nothing for him and it buries his character, and it's not fair because he's been there before Jacob, so I'm glad that he won the title and it was a good match, and I'm glad that he won the title and he's the champion right now. And by the way, like yeah, like the Samoans interfere. I keep forgetting the names because so many Samoans that Talaloa, Tangaloa. I
yeah.
don't know. But I'm like, there. I even wrote the Rock a letter like, hey, I think I'm have your cousin, so that way I could have a job at WWE. Let's see if he responds. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, man. Okay, so look, it was a good match. I enjoyed it for what it was supposed to be. Look, when Jacob Fatu first came in, I didn't really care for him. I'm like, good gosh, man, another Samoan just coming into the main picture, right? Because at that point we're still going with the whole bloodline thing, and he grew on me, man. Pablo was a big fan of his right from the jump, and I'm like, come on. But you know what? He grew on me. Jacob Fatu did grow on me, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I think Jacob Fatu outgrew Solo Sokola, man. I think he was more over than Solo is.
Oh yeah, I agree with you because I have a cousin. A shout out to my cousin Christian. You know, he listens to the podcast sometimes. He's a fan
Mm.
of Jacob. You know, tiene la shirt. You know, he has stuff in the room already, like posters and stuff. And I'm like, wow, you got into him that quick, huh? He's like, yeah, he's good. And I'm like, I'll probably get into him later on, you know, but not right now. Like he's there, but I'm not into him like that, you know. I think I'm a little bit into Solo, like, you know, so that's why I chose Solo. Like, you know, Solo has to win, you know, because if he loses, then it's like what's next, you know? Like why they bury Solo, you know?
Yeah, I okay. So I was saying when we were doing our predictions, I was saying like, look, if they're gonna dismantle this, I don't even know what they're calling it. I haven't heard them call it New Bloodline anymore, so I don't know what they're calling it. If they're still calling it that, I don't know. And apparently, Paul Heyman has a new name too. He's not the Wise Man anymore. But um, so I'm like, okay, if they're gonna dismantle it, then I could see Solo losing. But if they're going to continue this, which I believe that they were because they brought in that new dude before the match even took place. They brought in that new dude, that husky dude. I forgot. Yeah, just like you, I'm forgetting all their names, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, why would they bring that guy in if they're not going to continue this? If they're not going to continue this new bloodline faction, whatever the heck they want to call it, why would they bring that guy in? Nobody knows who he is, and he's gonna drown without Solo. And now we see once the match took place, yeah, one of those guys came back, and then we see that huge, tall, big dude, which was rumored that he was going to come in. I don't remember his name. I don't know much about him, but okay. So he's there. All right. So now there's four of them, Solo and three dudes with them. So I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, he has to win then, And I thought it was the right move. I thought it was the right move. If you're gonna bring all these new characters in, they have to be under Solo because if not, they're just gonna drown on their own, man.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it was a good match. It was a good match. Good what happened. The whole turnout. If you want to start bringing these guys in, but yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on all these dudes just coming in?
I think they should kind of slow down because like I feel I don't know, man. Like I get confused with all the names, you know. And I know he was talking about that heavy set guy. He kind of looked like Rhino a little bit, right? the
Yeah,
the new
yeah,
one
yeah.
they brought in, and I even forgot his name too. And I think Aaron or I don't know, but I think they should kind of slow down because what's gonna happen at the end of the day once they all separate? I don't think some of them are gonna like rise up and and be champions or be good or big superstars,
Right.
maybe like a little bit like like Jacob for sure. You could tell he's gonna be like okay big, not too big, but he's gonna be in WWE for a while. Solo for sure, Jimmy
Mm.
for sure, and Jay for sure. Roman, even though like I'm sorry, Cholo Trucker, forgive me, but I don't like him, but my respect, he's already cemented as like like one of the greatest, and with that Street Fighter movie, it's gonna boost him up more, and
I want to ask you a question about him. Uh, well, actually, I'll ask you right now. I ask you right now.
okay.
It Do you think his time in the WWE? Do you think he's bigger than The Rock was when The Rock was in the WWE?
Oh nah, man, The Rock was something else. The Rock, I
I,
remember.
I'm not okay. I'm not talking about who was better. I'm asking because I think The Rock is a better wrestler. But I'm
Yeah.
just talking about, was he
No,
big? Is
like popularity.
yeah, yeah,
Oh no, man, The Rock was something else. Like it's just like to this day, like even people that are not wrestling fans, and you point at The Rock, like let's say The Rock's on a poster, and then you be like, "Oh, you know him? Oh yeah, he's an actor." And then you ask, "You know what he was before being an actor?" They're gonna say a wrestler. Like everybody knows, the charisma. Like he it was like lightning in a bottle. Like him and Stone Cold. And
right.
and even if I grow old and I'm gonna tell my grandkids about it, like I'm happy, like I'm satisfied that I was a young kid, a teenager, like I was like, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, watching them on TV, like live, like Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania, like on the TV, the pay-per-views and all this stuff. Because at the moment, yeah, like I'm cheering for both of them, and it's hard to decide to this day. They ask me Rock or Stone Cold, and I'll be like, nah, I just turn around and walk away because like it was just lightning in a bottle, like so. No, maybe at this moment, Roman is maybe halfway, but if he continues to be in WWE, and I'm pretty sure like they're gonna give him some movie roles, because like I like women, like I'm 100% straight, but the guy got charisma, you could tell, he got that good facial and everything, like the hair and right, like the smile and
Yeah,
everything. So
yeah. Okay, okay.
they for sure gonna give him more movie roles for sure, and he's gonna get bigger, like but I don't know. I don't think, to be honest, like I don't think he's gonna top the Rock, like I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain,
Okay,
but
okay. I look. I would say this with the movies. Definitely, The Rock is a bigger star. Definitely, right?
yeah. Yeah.
In the WWE, I mean, okay, The Rock was around during a time when the WWE was more like in the Attitude Era, right? It was like a free for all,
Yeah.
anything goes kind of deal. The Rock never did what Roman did, though. That's why that's like if I stick to wrestling, if I
Yeah.
stick to wrestling, definitely The Rock was better on the mic. I mean, he's one of the best of all time to rock the mic. I think The
Yeah.
Rock is a better actual wrestler, but character wise and story wise, when I think, man, of the bloodline and the Roman, just I, I'm kind of like, The Rock never did that. Like the Rock, the Roman went what 4 years as champion. Roman was like the closest thing to an Undertaker. What I mean by that was the Undertaker at one point towards the later part of his career, he would just show up every once in a great while, and then he just became just WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
And Roman was like a part timer, but champion, and he was able to pull it off. And every time he came out, without saying too much, he could just stand in the ring and just look at the crowd, and the crowd would just get going, man. So I mean, when I'm just talking about wrestling in the business of wrestling, man, I don't know. Definitely, The Rock's a better wrestler, and definitely, The Rock is better on the mic.
Yeah.
But Roman's more slow and cerebral, and people cared about his matches, man. Like he was the biggest star in his time. He's
Yeah.
the biggest star, and I think he still is. If he comes back, when he comes back, I still think he's bigger than everybody else as a star.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like when he comes back, for sure he's gonna get a pop. Because he already won everybody's heart. Even even though I don't like him, but like if I see him pop out like at SummerSlam or help out at Survivor Series, like yeah, I'm gonna get a little joy inside, but I'm not gonna but I'm not gonna lie, like it's gonna, my little heart is gonna be like, oh, okay, he's there, but I don't know. Maybe in 2 years I'll get into him, but I don't know. But
Well, let's talk about somebody that does bring joy, little joy to your heart. CM Punk gets in there against John Cena, and man, was I wrong. Was I wrong? What was your thoughts on this match, man?
oh man, well, first of all, I want to bring up that wow, man, it's just did you saw the way they shot John Cena's entrance? Like, oh my god, it was so beautiful. Like the way they shot it, the angle, the
Hmm.
production, and I'm like, it was so beautiful. But the match was it was awesome. It was like they put on the wrestling clinic, and then I was kind of like, you know, I was thinking like, I think this match is gonna be quick, because they both kind of like old, not too old, but they're up there in age.
Right, right,
And I was like, okay, I think I'll be satisfied. If they do this quick little match, and this is the last time that we're gonna see them wrestle. Like I had that in the back of my mind. I'm just gonna be satisfied and happy, even if the match lasts 5 minutes. But no, man, they were like, you know what? Let's really wrestle, let's put on a wrestling clinic, which they did, and it was amazing. Like, oh my God, I'm so happy, I just, yeah, I remember that we kind of brought up that Seth Rollins was over there, but
right.
we didn't talk much about him, like interfering. I think we did, but we didn't got into it much, but it's just like, yeah, it happened. And I'm like, oh man, I just, I didn't like that ending, much, like too many people interfering. Like they should have just let John Cena, do the kick in the balls and hit the bell, and that's it.
Oh no, come on, man.
His his
I, okay.
his two move of doom.
All right. So, in my opinion, this was John Cena's best match since he's came back.
Oh, amen to that. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, yeah, this was the best match he's had since he's been back, and it was like, okay, all right. It was actually a good match. Now, the ending where there's a lot going on. You got a lot going on. There's so many bodies going down there. You got Seth Rollins, with his goons. You got who else goes down there? Penta goes down there.
Oh,
Sami Zayn. Didn't
by the
Sammy
way,
go down?
yes, I'm saying. By the way, sorry to cut you off real quick.
Mm.
Hey, you know what? I'm happy that Penta was, on this angle because Viva Mexico. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy that he was able to get in this little angle. At the end. But yeah,
Yeah. And which got him, to team up with Sammy for Monday Night Raw.
yeah, that's true.
you know. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff going down. You got different characters coming down, a lot going on, and I'm like, man, okay, it's getting a little confusing, a little hectic, a lot of things happening, and it's like, all right, I think once everything was over, I thought to myself, okay, I think they wanted to throw everybody off. I think they wanted so much confusion and so many bodies all over the place. I mean, at one point, John Cena is arguing with Seth Rollins in the
Oh,
middle of the ring.
oh
So
yeah,
there's
that's true.
all this going on. I think they wanted to throw everybody off because getting a clean 1, 2, 3 on CM Punk, I knew just wasn't gonna happen. I knew that wasn't gonna happen, man. So Seth Rollins getting involved and hitting the curb stomp, and the way it ended, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Kind of threw everybody off. It gets CM Punk moving forward. It gets CM Punk away from John Cena and solely focused on Seth Rollins. So I mean, they you know they promoted this match as the last time ever, just like they did with Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that I thought that was the way to do it, to have Seth, screw over CM Punk. That way CM Punk is now, he doesn't even care about John Cena anymore. He's just focused on Seth Rollins. By the way, word Punk on SmackDown last week when he came out as John Cena, as Word Life John Cena, I thought that was good, man.
Oh yeah. You know who produced that segment? What's his name? Bobby? No, man, I forgot. The Glorious.
The
Uh,
the glorious
Bobby Roode, or I forgot the
Bobby
wrestler.
Roode.
Yeah, the one that they used to wear
Yeah.
like the yeah, because he wears some productions and like in the back. He was the one that produced that segment. So like big shout
Okay.
outs to him.
No, no, I like Bobby Roode. He did. I mean, his best run with the WWE was in NXT.
Oh yeah,
You
I
know,
remember. It was good. It was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, he was champion right there. When he went to the main roster, I mean, he did okay, but he was already kind of old. I think he made it to the main roster when he was already like 42 or something.
Yeah,
But
that's true. He was already
but no,
old.
yeah, I thought that was good, man. Seeing CM Punk come out, Punk live, and I thought that was I thought that was pretty good, man.
Yeah, well,
But
it reminded you like an old school SmackDown segment, right? Like,
it it did, and it gave me a little hope. It gave me a little hope. I would love for John Cena to retire like that, as word life John Cena. I would like him. People are talking about his face turn, that he's gonna turn back face, and I thought
yeah,
that was a good moment, Bird, in the match when they kind of shake hands and they give each other a hug. I'm like, oh, okay. But then John Cena gives that stare, like, oh no, I'm gonna kick him in the balls, right? I'm like, okay, Bird, Big Bird, let me ask you, does John Cena turn babyface at some point?
yeah, it's gonna happen, but not soon, but maybe like 2 months, or maybe before Survivor Series.
Okay.
That way, whenever he builds its team for Survivor Series, they'll be the face versus the heel, and
Yeah.
then yeah, he's gonna retire a face at the end. He's gonna give like this great speech about, hey, never give up, this and that, and hustle, loyalty, and respect. But I think it's
Okay.
gonna happen for sure, because they teasing it, they teasing it, in WWE they don't tease, or they don't plan, or they don't do nothing on purpose, they do it for a reason, because it's gonna happen, like it's coming, but we have to be patient and wait, everything they always plan to see for everything, they always plan to see. And you have to remember, oh, you know what? They planted to see in January. I still remember the storyline for January. Oh, it makes sense because now it's July and it's coming into fruition, for example,
If he goes out as a heel, that is weak, Holmes. That is super duper weak, because he was never a heel like that, man. That if he's got to go out, maybe not as hustle. I'm sorry, not maybe not as word life, but he's got to
Yeah.
go out as a baby face. It is beyond stupid if he goes out as a heel. He has to go out as a baby face, man. It
Yeah,
would
that's
be
true.
so dumb. It would ruin everything. I mean, they've already ruined his run, but it would ruin it even more if they have him go out as a heel. It's like, no, no, he was always a face, man. So, but
Let me ask you this, right? Like for his
mm,
last match, I know he don't have to face Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes he's doing his thing, he's up there, like John Cena don't have to put him over. Yeah, I talk about like, hey, you know what? Maybe Cody Rhodes should win the last match against John Cena and then the passing of the torch. But I think I take it back because Cody Rhodes, like he's good. He's good, he's superstardom, but who you think, like in your opinion, like if you had to choose somebody young and new that John Cena can get like can get over like for his last match, give him like a rub and pass the torch a little bit. Who will you pick?
Okay. Okay. I had the person chosen for it, but because what this person's doing and what they're involved in right now, I
Yeah.
don't think there's enough time. And that person is was Braun Breaker. I
Oh
thought,
wow, that's a good one.
yeah, I thought Braun Breaker would have been the guy. I thought they could have built a pretty good story, but because Braun Breaker now he joined forces, because going back to WrestleMania,
Yeah.
he loses. Am I getting that right, or am I tripping?
I'm sorry, you kind of cut off for like 5 seconds.
Oh shoot, Spencer. Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
Braun Breaker, he
Okay.
lost his strap to Dirty Dom, right, at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I'm like, okay, okay, this is going in the right direction. If now they start building him as a singles competitor, people love him already, even though he's a heel. People are like, who, you know.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
But since he aligned himself under um Seth Rollins, now I'm not so sure, man. I don't think there's enough time to break him away. Now I don't know. Now I really don't know. But he was my choice. He was my choice.
it,
Maybe still can be, but not
it,
not not if he's gonna remain under Seth Rollins like that.
I know it's a just me, but does it seem like kind of like he's like just like going down a little bit, or am I tripping? Because he's in that faction.
Yeah. Yeah, I think his stardom is still okay. They got to start putting him in matches. Having him come out just so he could spear somebody for Seth Rollins, that's cool, but it's not building him. He needs to have matches. He needs to start, winning and breaking dudes apart in matches, so people can start chanting for him, like, hey, you don't need Seth Rollins. Like, get away from this fool. You know what I mean? Like, you could do your own thing, man. The way people started chanting for Jacob Fatu to get away from Solo, like, dog, you don't need him. You know what I mean? Stop being under him. Stop doing this. I love you so low. Like, stop, man. You could be on your own. That's the way they need to work with Braun Breaker, but he needs to have matches. And he's not having really any single matches. If he gets in matches, it's tag team, or he just comes out just to spear somebody for Seth Rollins. And it's like, no, he needs to have matches on his own, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I agree with you.
But yeah. Anyway, just to wrap it up, anything, Big Bird, that all this points out to you on where we're going with all of this?
No, I think what we talked about today and whatever's is happening,
All right,
like whatever happened
all
in
right.
Night
Okay,
Temple.
okay.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then.
Okay. Okay.
What's next for John Cena? We know what's next for CM Punk. CM Punk is now going to beef it with Seth Rollins. But what's next for Cena?
Okay, so this is what's gonna happen for Cena. I know for sure that he's gonna face Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the title, and I know for
Mhm.
sure he's gonna drop it at SummerSlam because he has a couple of days to show up, and then he's probably gonna come back until October or something, and then he's gonna pick up where he left off, and I don't know, I don't think he's able to win the title again, but I mean, if he does, maybe let's say for example, he wins it like on his last match, and maybe he could like like return it back like the next day or whatever. But
Right.
that's what I think is gonna happen. Like it only makes sense, right? Like the way the story is going, right? That's the story mode, because CM Punk, him and CM Punk is already done, like you say. Now CM Punk is going against Seth Rollins, he's chasing Seth Rollins, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a match at SummerSlam, like a singles competitor match. But that's what I think is gonna happen with John Cena. How about yourself?
Well, definitely he's gonna be facing Cody Rhodes. Word is that maybe he might have to film a movie. Does he drop the title though? That I'm still not sold on. Um, Man, I really, really do not.
Or you know what?
I,
You know
yeah,
what? Well, what if? Right? I'm just saying, but it might not happen. But I'm like reaching out. Like, what if, like Cody turns heel at SummerSlam,
that
and
that's it's been out there. It's been out there that Cody is going to turn heel.
I think that's when maybe he wins the title and he be heel for a bit, and that's when John Cena comes back as a face, and retire as a face.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. You know what? I could see that happening. I could see. Okay, the story being told at WrestleMania. Remember when John had told Cody, you don't got it in you. And remember, Cody was about to cheat. Cody was about to hit John with the title, remember? And
Oh
he
yeah, I
couldn't
remember.
do it. He couldn't do it because he's such a nice guy. He's a nice guy, Big Bird. He's such a nice guy, right? And what happened?
Uh-huh.
He got screwed over. Why? Because he's such a nice guy. This time around, this time around, maybe at SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes isn't that nice guy and he actually cheats to win. And then there's his heel turn. But should Cody go heel? He's one of the biggest baby faces they got.
Yeah, that's true. It wouldn't make sense, but to be honest, I do really want to see him turn heel. Like, it's just me. I want to see him with that black hair. That black tuxedo with the red. But
Okay, okay.
but yeah, you're right. It doesn't. That's the money maker right now, and he's a baby face. He's the face of the company. To be honest, he's like a mixture of Hulk Hogan and Lex Luger. That's how I see him. But I don't know. I'm probably tripping.
Well, I don't think he could slam Yokozuna like Lex did, or slam the Andre the Giant the way Hogan did. But I get what you're saying, man. He's an all-American, good old boy, man. All
Yeah.
right, Big Bird. Anything else, brother, before we wrap it up, man?
No, that's it. Like, I appreciate you having me here, and everything we talked about today. It make perfect sense. And Night of Champions. I give it like a 8 out of 10. It was really good, and we got everything right except for like two. Like the Asuka match and the John Cena and CM Punk match. But other than that, it was really good, and I'm glad that all the superstars are back over here. On this other side. Instead of being over there, I was kind of like a little afraid of that, but you're right. Like, uh, they got security, so why am I even tripping? Huh?
Yeah, it was a good show. I don't have any complaints. I mean, I could nitpick things, but
Yeah,
yeah, I enjoyed it. I'd probably give it the same as you did, an 8 out of 10. It was a good showing, and yeah, glad that they're back stateside, man. So
yeah. And then
anyway, man,
by the way, like the stage was so beautiful. Like the
it
stage,
was.
wow. And then the crowd, like, oh wow, because there's times that they have a show over there, and the crowd, like, they're like kind of half dead, but no pun
Yeah.
intended, but this time around, like, wow. So I'm really now it got me excited for the Royal Rumble because it's gonna be there on January. So, like, okay, like I'm excited. I'm excited for the Royal Rumble.
That makes one of us, man. That makes one of us. We'll get to that when we get closer to it. That is Big Bird representing South Central Los Angeles. Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shout out to all the junkies. Catch you guys on next one.
Pinche. Era otro.